I'm awfully glad to see you folks this evening. For a while I was worried that the cast of characters would outnumber the audience, but that is not the case. I'm John York, and thanks to friends and family and lovers of poetry, I'm glad you could be here. Howdy there. I'm going to grab a seat. There are some chairs up here. You don't need to sit unless you really want to stand. Thanks to Scuppernong Books for sponsoring the celebration of a little chapbook of poems, The Charge. Thanks especially to Brian and Steve for their unstinting support. Thanks to these agencies for supporting this project: the North Carolina Arts Council, the Arts Council of Greater Greensboro, and the Arts Council of Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. The artist support grant from these agencies paid for the chapbooks and provided artist fees for the cover, illustration, book design, and Rachel's musical contributions. Before I introduce tonight's performers, I'd like to give Eddie Huffman time to tell you about his biography of Doc Watson. Not that I have a biography, but he has a biography of Doc Watson coming out in January. Is that right, Eddie?
That's right.
Eddie, if you would please tell us about it.
Thank you, John. Hello, everybody. Hey. Feels a little weird seeing John without my dog with me, because I usually see John when I'm out walking my dog in Lake Daniel Park. John has written a beautiful little book. He kind of rendered part of my book superfluous. It really captures the Doc's family, Doc's early days, and he obviously did a lot of homework. So he gets a lot of the details right, and he admits that he takes some poetic license here and there, with sort of enhancing some of the stories, but some really beautiful poetic language in what John has done. So proud to be part of this presentation here tonight. But yeah, my book is it's called Doc Watson: A Life of Music, and it's come out from UNC Press in I think January 16th. And I'm doing a reading here at Scuppernong on February 6th. And Riley Bogus is going to be here as part of that. He's going to tell some stories and play some songs associated with Doc. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I spent about 5 years working on the book, and it covers Doc's entire life. And I know, I'm guessing part of John's feel for Doc's life is John's from not too far from where Doc grew up in Deep Gap. John's from rural Yadkin County, I believe. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah. Came along about 30 years later, but kind of a similar field, but rural Western North Carolina. But yeah, covered Doc. Basically the first 40 years of his life, he was getting state assistance because he was blind, state assistance for a disability. Played square dances, that sort of thing, VFW halls, but was pretty much unknown. And the book covers how he was discovered, how he was taken to Greenwich Village. There's the new Dylan movie. If anybody's seen the new movie, A Complete Unknown, and it covers that period of Bob Dylan's life in Greenwich Village in the early 60s. And that's basically the same period when Doc was discovered. Some folks in New York brought him there, and he was a sensation immediately. And at almost 40, he kind of became a star in the folk world, and went from there and became definitely one of the most influential acoustic guitar players who ever lived worldwide. And I covered the rest of his life. He lived to be almost 90 years old, and had just some amazing adventures. He toured Africa for the U.S. State Department, played at the 1968 Mexico City Olympics, played all over the world, played Japan, Europe. So just covered, and definitely some tragedy. His son Merle died young, which is why we have Merle Fest now. That was started in honor of Doc's son Merle. But yeah, cover Doc's entire life, and I'm happy with the way it turned out, and I hope the world will be. Thanks for having me, John. I appreciate it.
I look forward to reading that book. I've been waiting, and now I can stop skulking on the bike path waiting to come along. I have to do my research
Stop interrupting my dog.
on the bike path. Asking, did Merle graduate from high school?
He did not. He dropped out. He went on the road with Doc when he was about 16.
Okay. We can move ahead now. I'd like to introduce musicians. I'm awfully proud of these women. Jane York. Raise your hand, Jane. And girl is first teacher. Elizabeth York, violin, who lives in St. Paul, Minnesota. Kathryn York, cello, lives in Knoxville. Rosa York, who lives here in Greensboro, the singer and arranger of tonight's renditions. For those who don't know it, Jane is my wife. Yesterday we celebrated 45 years. He knows what's coming next. Our readers, I'm one of them. I also include Allen Speer, reader and my speaking coach, bless her heart. Allen Speer, our narrator, both retired from Leeds Prairie College, both shining lights in the high country, especially Barnyard. It's time to celebrate. When Arthur Doc Watson died in 2012, I was floored by the news. I'd never met Doc, but I felt like I'd lost a brother. I always felt buoyed by the energy and good humor and the depth of feeling I found in his music. We did not come here with the notion that we could add anything to Doc's legacy. Instead, we come to celebrate that legacy and tradition and its most brilliant exponent. We come to pass on the light that are a portion to that tradition. Now I'll introduce Allen, our narrator.
I'm the narrator, charged with introducing songs and poems. The multi-talented Rachel York designed the book, The Charge, Poems Remembering the Doc Watson and the Doc Watson Family. She also drew the cover illustration. To help us understand her choice, we hear from John Thomas York reading his poem, Naming the Constellations. It serves as the book's epigraph.
It is a low chair, made for a shorter generation. Either that or the tapering legs rested once on rockers that wore out. Little Roy Burgess wove a new seat, a simple pattern that's held for decades. I fended off Uncle Gilbert at the auction and claimed my inheritance. Sometimes I ride the chair around the galaxy while I play my guitar and jigs and ballads great-grandfather fiddled. Tonic, dominant, subdominant chords. Then back to the keynote, opening a door to a cornfield at dusk.
To approach the prologue of the book, please imagine being nearly lost in a mountain fog. Suddenly you are above the fog. Or is it an ocean, a vision, or a revelation?
The view from Deep Gap. We have a silver okay. How many have ever rode on that old 421 back before it got straightened out? It was a snaky road. It was a dangerous road. And I rode on it when I was a student at Appalachian. The view from Deep Gap. Navigating a snaky road, creeping along in a cloud, listening to Doc on the tape deck, I have found a mountain materializing out of thin air. Out of thin air, the bare blue trees, the parkway overpass. Then I stopped to stare at the wide valley covered by fog as level as the ocean. And the ridge on the other side might have been the hills of County Down, or the highlands, the beacons, the Atlas Mountains. Who knew they were so close? The mothers and fathers, their songs like seas and black furrows. Pretty Saro walking a dark hour and weeping, reading a poem she will long understand. Her lover, a poor man, cursed for to roam. Now a pilgrim heading home, heard the old song, the fading light, felt an everlasting charge in flesh and bone.
When I first came to this country in 1749, I saw many fair lovers, but I never saw mine. I viewed it all around me and saw it was all alone. Me, a poor stranger, and a long ways from home. Well, it's not this long journey I'm a-driving for to go, nor the country I'm a-leaving, nor the debts that I owe. There's only one thing that troubles my mind, and that's leaving my darling, pretty Saro behind. It's fare thee well to old mother, fare thee well to father too. I'm a-going for to Rambeau, this wide world all through. And when I get weary, I'll sit down and cry, and I'll think on my darling, pretty Saro, my bride. Well, I wish I was a poet and could write some fine hand. I would write my letter that you might understand, and I'd send it by the waters where the islands overflow, and I'll think on my darling wherever I go. Well, I wish I was a turtle dove, had wings and could fly. I would fly to my lover's lodgings. Tonight I'd draw nigh, and there in her lily white arms I'd lie there all night, and I'd watch them little windows for the dawning of day.
Arthur Doc Watson was born in 1923 in Deep Gap, North Carolina. His parents were Annie Green and General Watson. General was his name, not his rank. When he was still a baby, Arthur was treated for an eye infection. It's believed the medicine damaged his eyes, leaving him with some light awareness and nothing more. But he was surrounded by music, especially at church, where his father led the congregation in shape note singing.
Singing school, the Sacred Harp. When General Watson kept time, arms waving, palms down, pumping the congregation, the people sang their syllables, warming up to the melody. Then the lyrics, voices free of vibrato, just this side of shouting, 4 parts, finding places as if a fiddler were tuning as he played. Maybe there was an ancestral memory of bagpipes, of reeds that made the feet twitch and the hair stand at attention. They sang of the Savior's promise. They called on a spirit from a deep vein of salt, the grit that preserves, a savor on the tongue of every singer. And you, Arthur Watson, sat on your mother's lap and smelled the salt, but tasted your mother's sweet voice, the first you heard. 9 months of ballad and lullaby, the first songs you learned by heart.
Rachel and the Yorkestra will now perform one of the most famous songs from the Sacred Harp, Idumea.
And am I born to die, to lay this body down, and must my trembling spirit fly into a world unknown.
Is dedicated to poems about Arthur's childhood. We hear about how he nearly drove his mom crazy playing percussion on household instruments when he could not find his beloved harmonica.
Barnyard Bourdon, Bourdon's B-O-U-R-D-O-N. It's a constant bass line. And to me, it's symbolic of a rhythm, or expresses a rhythm of life. Doc was full of it, more ways than one. Reaching into his Christmas stocking, he always found a harmonica. Papa showed him how to breathe, how to tongue the holes, how to play Cotton Eye Joe or Cripple Creek. Arthur took it everywhere until it fell out of his pocket. In hayloft, laurel thicket, or roadside ditch. Then he returned to kitchen music, spoons or forks, laughing, tapping pans, tin cans, the wood stove, until Mama shooed him out to the porch. There to play brush and wash tub, milk bucket, nail can, boom chicka, where brother Arnold jumped into the porch boards, clogging to knock the dirt off his brogans, shaking the plates on the kitchen table. And when the postman brought him a new harp, Arthur decided he wanted a bass line. He rigged up a steel wire, attached one end to a hook on the barn door, the other to a stub in the dirt, pushed and pulled the door until the throbbing harmonized with the harp. And he played Home Sweet Home, right hand flailing, left holding the harmonica. And he stopped long enough to sing, be it ever so humble, there's no place like home. The barnyard drum booming over the farm, a burden, an echo, a spirit wandering the hills.
General Watson was a resourceful man, made his son a banjo, then taught him how to pick it. This was shortly before Arthur left for the North Carolina School for the Blind, a most unhappy time in the boy's life. The poet will also sing, so brace yourself.
Sing song kitty. General Watson carved maple friction pegs, the hoop and fretless neck. He told Arthur, you'll be missing your mountain home, your family clattering all about. You'll need a banjo to flail away the blues. Papa finished off the drum with the hide of a whistle pig, the old groundhog, but the instrument was missing the proper clink. Sounded more like the cloddy thump of dirt shoveled into a hole. When here come Brother Lenny carrying a sack, Granny's old blind cat wouldn't eat, just lay around peeing on herself. She paid Lenny a nickel to finish it off. Don't bury that cat, the General said. Skin it first, then bring me the hide so I can tan it. I'll stretch it over the hoop. When the banjo was finished, Papa taught his boy how to pick Sing Song Kitty. By God, the cat sang like Kitty did in the moonlight. The old tomcat found a wife in the sky. Sing Song Kitty, get you high me, yo. She had a white face as round as a pie. Sing Song Kitty, get you high me, yo. Nemo, hi-mo, beetle-bug, jingo. Me-hoo, my-hoo, pretty green wingo. Chicken fat, pretty bad, blue-eyed pussycat. Sing Song Kitty, get you high me, yo. Stay in 17. Such critics. Sorry living at home. Oh, it's my turn. Sometime around 1980, I met Rambeau, blind piano tuner, had a music store in Smithfield, North Carolina. He told me the following story. Doc was not happy there, probably because he was cut off from his parents and 8 siblings were remote for most of the year. So the state supplied 2 bus tickets, one to get there and one to leave, nothing in between. Alan's gonna help me out with this one. Red Rambeau, piano tuner, told me,
I knew Arthur at the school from the blind. He would not participate. Got demerits for smoking. Nearly got expelled. Him and 2 other boys. One night they snuck into the cafeteria, stole the tubes out of a radio just so they wouldn't have to listen to Bach and Beethoven during lunch. Come Christmas time, some of us could not afford the bus fare home. So they got up a talent show, him and another mountain boy. They played guitar and cat skin banjo. After the show and refreshments, we were back in the dorm and I heard a smack. You know, a blind person hates to be hit, worse than anything. Well, the matron had slapped Arthur, told him he was conceited, playing country music, smiling and picking away like he was somebody.
Did she get in trouble for hitting a student or for not tearing up the radio? What happened first, the smoking, the talent show, or the midnight vandalism?
I don't know. My memories seem to swirl like they were on a merry-go-round. But that matron, she might as well have slapped the wind roaring through the gap. In the poem Discovery, John works to capture that special environment that was the Watson household and a turning point in Doc's life. When General promises to buy his son a Silvertone, he is offering to order a guitar from the Sears Roebuck catalog.
Silvertone was from Sears and Roebuck. It was not a high-class, high-quality instrument, but he was glad to have it. Discovery. His brothers take him to a place where the water pools, where a rope dangles from a limb, one brother handing the rope while another waits to guide Arthur away from the rocks. Oh, the thrill of a swing in a bright fog, the cool darkness of the creek bank. Or he walks the road barefooted without a guiding arm, his feet learning patterns of gravel and rut. He listens for echoes of road bank and ditchweed, pretends to be a boy made of rubber, laughing with the others when he stubs a toe, or skins elbows and knees, or when a tree limb prizes crown or forehead, or the waff of the crosscut saw, his father guiding him to the handle, teaching him the song of labor. Smell of sour locust or sweet pine dust. The ache, the sweat, the grinning when his daddy says, "Good job, boy." At night, cooling the tin roof, the occasional blink, voices retreating into yawns gaping, and the hoot owls talking to in the holler. The moon a dazzle at the window, like that girl who is always out of reach when he tries to play tag. Then one day, cousin leaves a guitar in the corner. Dorothy picks it up, takes it carefully to his chair, strums searching for a chord, as if he has caught the girl he will marry. His daddy promises Arthur a Silvertone of his own if he can learn a song by the time he's home from the sawmill. So the boy searches the frets, finds 3 chords, 3 magic words that together make a vow, marrying Arthur to 6 strings, and a breeze from the southeast easing through the corn, or the north wind moaning round the corner of the house, or the west wind in the pines playing a song nearly forgotten, or a song never heard before.
The lineup at the 1963 Newport Folk Festival was amazing. Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, Mississippi John Hurt, Bill Monroe, Pete Seeger, Johnny Cash, Peter, Paul, and Mary, and on and on. And from North Carolina, Doc Watson. Ralph Rensler had come south to attend the Fiddlers Convention at Union Grove, North Carolina. After the convention, he met Doc and convinced him to join the folk revival, to play the folk clubs and the festivals in the Northeast. Rensler had a hard time convincing Doc to give up his Telecaster for an acoustic. Doc liked the narrow neck of the Fender, which made him easier to play fiddle tunes. Doc was 40, a fully developed artist. His flack-picking rendition of Black Mountain Rag was a revelation. His style changed the way guitarists played traditional and bluegrass music. John and Janet will read a poem celebrating that turning point in Doc's life and in American music. The Newport Folk Festival, 1963.
Newport Folk Festival.
1963, a turning point in Doc's career. He came from a 4-room bungalow, a house where no telephone rang, where the light in the window shone from an oil lantern, where instead of bathroom they said outhouse, slop jar.
Came from woodshedding for 10 years with Jack Williams and the Rail Riders. Combo playing rockabilly, from jazz and fiddle tunes, square dances, Doc picking a Fender Telecaster going electric to be heard above the stomping, flirting, fussing.
Or before that, he came from busking at street corners or in front of a cab stand or barber shops in Wilkesboro, Lenore, or Boone. Doc collecting change in a cup to take back home. Or before that, he came from the School of the Blind, Django Reinhardt on the Philco.
He came from Deep Gap, Daddy leading hymn singing, Mama churning butter, telling of Tom Dula, Only Wise, the orphan girl, or his father-in-law fiddling, saying, look down that lonesome road.
Or the Watsons winding up at Victrola, Doc wearing out his recordings of the Delmar Brothers, the Skillet Lickers.
And thanks to Ralph Rensler, here is Doc, abashed by folks, who come not to drink or fight, but to watch fingers on a borrowed Martin guitar.
The man never missing a step as he builds with dazzling economy a stairway winding skyward, and the listeners followed up and over Black Mountain.
They feel the final rush downhill, the bump that lifts them from their seats, as if gravity were diminished, as they whistle and clap, as they holler, Doc Watson!
Doc's success would lead to a turning point for Merle Watson, who at 16 will become Doc's road manager. The incident described in this poem can be heard on the album Doc Watson on Stage featuring Merle Watson. Merle started touring with Doc at the age of 15. He never finished high school, gained a reputation as a master of the slide guitar, but the many days he spent on the road, it wore him down and probably contributed to his several addictions. Merle speaks of a voice in the night.
When I was 15, I started touring with Dad, lending a guiding hand, rhythm guitar. We were playing folk clubs, college towns. Doc always did the talking. He was a star. And I always preferred keeping my mouth shut, less likely to prove myself a fool. One night, the sassy Yankee girl called out from the dark, "Say something, Merle." Everybody laughed. Doc said, "Honey, I've been trying to get this boy to talk for years." He couldn't see me turning as red as Buddy's steak. Couldn't feel the words burning my ears. "Son, that gal sounds pretty enough to make you talk." Backstage after the show, I listened for that smart alecky girl. She did sound pretty, but in the crowd, her voice was missing. Now when I play slide, angels proclaim, demons gibber, women shout, "Do it to me, Merle!" But I've never heard the one who called, then disappeared, the mystery girl. I wander the world listening for that voice, like a sweet spot on a blues guitar. Just a phrase, as cold and bright as the full moon, as hot as a gleed chipped off a star.
In the early hours of October 23rd, 1985, Merle Watson cut his hand while sawing lumber for a house he was building. He drove a tractor to a neighbor's house. Man bandaged the wound. They shared a bottle of wine. Merle headed home, but he died when his tractor hit an incline and he was pinned under the machine. In the following pantoon, a form which lines are repeated, we hear his mother's reaction to his life and death.
Rosalie, Merle's mother. As if I were walking underwater, I drifted in slow, weary circles, from cellar to wood stove to the pantry and back, making Nancy dizzy. I drifted in slow, weary circles, trudging up to the empty mailbox and back, making Nancy dizzy whenever my boys were on the road. Trudging up to the empty mailbox, I looked for a letter from Merle the lamb, whenever my boys were on the road, or a card from California or New York. I looked for a letter from Merle, the goose, who never bothered with doing homework or sending a card from California or New York. I told his teachers, he's just a boy. He never bothered with doing homework. By 16, he had a baby, a wife, a car. I told his woman, he's just a boy. Whenever he chased the devil in the hills. When only 15, I was a wife and a mama. What could I say? What could we do? Whenever we dared the devil in the hills, my life ended when he died under that tractor. What could I say? What could we do? I just wanted him close by, always. When I am walking, shuffling underwater, from bed to living room to kitchen, I stop and look at his grave there in the backyard.
St. James Hospital is a song that has known many variations. Louis Armstrong sang the jazz version, St. James Infirmary. In a not so jolly old England, it was called The Unfortunate Rake. Here is Rachel to sing her version. call it a different profession. He hated touring, he hated flying. What regrets did he have? Janet and John will read the next poem, Looking Down That Lonesome Road.
You're by yourself at a bus terminal, a hungry man, sickened by diesel fumes. The driver gave you a sandwich back in Virginia. You stand in a tide of strange voices, the New Yorkers babbling in tongues and waiting for a hand to guide you through the honking streets or to steal your guitar or push you into the river.
You taste your breakfast during takeoff, feeling like you're climbing a steep mountain, riding in a rattling pickup truck on the rocky road to hell. Ulcers burning as if your stomach is smoking a pack of cigarettes. And you land in a place where the sidewalk is so hot, perdition must be only a few steps away.
You're on the road after a concert, sitting, listening to Eddie Arnold on the radio, and you hear a girl's voice coming from Merle's room, and it can't be his wife laughing. And you know in the morning your son will smell of weed, wine, sex.
Then after Merle died under a tractor, there came Jonah's great fish. He swallowed the house. For the first time you knew complete darkness. You sank into a pit that smelled like asphalt. Until Merle's hand came down, reaching, taking yours, his right hand pulling you up. You could feel his long fingernails. He told you, go back to the road, play for me.
And so you played. Even the next week, played for years, always missing his banjo, his slide guitar by your side, the arm that led you to your chair, to your rest. Somebody else took you to your room, and your bed felt like a raft riding over the deep. You felt the muscular circling of the monster, always waiting. It already knew the taste of your flesh.
Rachel, her mother, and her sisters will now perform Your Long Journey.
God's given us years of happiness here. Now we must part. And as the angels come and call for you,
mountaintop. Now it's time to return to the valley, to bring our vision home, leaving Deep Gap.
After watching the valley fog turning pink, turning blue, I backed away from the overlook, headed down 421. On the tape deck, Doc Watson sang, "Come on, sinners, let's go down. Come on down, down to where tail lights brightened as we rushed into the steep curves, brakes smelling hot, till the valley floor came up to greet us. Down in the valley to pray, gravity's fierce grip, releasing cars and trucks into the easy grade. Fog growing thick as I peered into the dark. Here and there, a security light, window lamp, a deer considering the concrete river. At last, a porch light, uphome for my arrival. Most of us speeding down the face of the Blue Ridge. Never noticed the old highway, how it intersects at the straightaways. Much less imagine the wagon trail, lost in the woods, rocky, rough, and laced up with switchbacks. Studying about that good old way, travelers were lucky there was a companion who leavened their labor with a fiddle tune, tongue twister, murder ballad, tall tale, rusty joke, or maybe a prayer for perseverance, persistence, for protection, down in the valley to pray. In the morning, I stood at Grandma's kitchen window, felt the oven heating up, watched sycamore leaves falling in the brisk November wind. I studied the shining blue wall to the north. That escarpment every pioneer must climb, anyone who reaches for their hawk's high regard, both large in particular. Who shall wear the starry crown? Doc wore it, wears it, sang it, played it. He gave us the gift. If you carried it in your heart, pilgrim, won't you sit down and share? Brothers, sisters, come on down in the valley to pray. Rachel's agreed to lead us in the singing.
As I went down in the valley to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down, don't you want to come down? Oh, sisters, let's go down, down in the valley to pray. As I went down in the valley to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down, don't you want to come down? Oh, brothers, let's go down, down in the valley to pray. As I went down in the valley to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, y'all, let's go down, come on down, don't you want to come down? Oh, y'all, let's go down, down in the valley to pray.
While there were hardships and heartaches for Doc's family, the dominant feeling we get listening to his music is one of triumph, of joy. He moved along like a cannonball, like a star in its heavenly flight.
Doc Watson loved to ride the Blue Railroad train, Wabash Cannonball, fast flying vestibule, passenger trader freight. He was hobo, fireman, brakeman, engineer. He rode them every which way, playing the blues, bluegrass or ballad, the story moving toward that boulder on the tracks. Sometimes you remember the school for the blind, listening to a faraway whistle stock answering on the harmonica, wishing the tracks went up the mountains to Deep Gap, to his mama's cornbread and collards. No wonder his fingers loved the guitar's neck. 6 rails and 20 cross ties at the junction. Left hand choosing the magical combinations. His right a regular engine, pistons flashing over the trestle and up around the bend, down to the straightaway, stretching toward the horizon. Then of the song, way out of sight.
Rachel will end our celebration with an updated version of an old song, "The Train That Carried My Man from Town."
Where were you when the train left town? I was standing on the corner with my head down. Hey, the train took my man from town. Hey, hey, hey. I wish to the Lord that train would wreck, kill the engineer and break the fireman's neck. Hey, the train took my man from town. Hey, hey, rations on the table, coffee's getting cold. Some dirty rounders fill my jello. Hey, the man took my man from town. Hey, hey, there goes my man, someone bring him back. He's got his hand in my bloody sack. Hey, that train took my man from town. Hey, hey, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Show me a man a woman can trust. Hey, the train took my man from town. Hey, hey,
Is there any for Jane and York yet? Brings John Allen Speer. Rather than applause, I'll take your money. And they've got some books on sale up front of the quick counter. Jane, Rachel, and I'll be back here signing copies if you wish. Thanks for coming. We love every one of you. Good night.